morning. Welcome to Ask Coffee. My name is Chef Caesar. Today I'm going to be making for you some chicken liver pate. This is one of those dishes. Actually, it's a spread. You really like it or you don't, but it's really, I'm sure you probably had it before. It's an hors d'oeuvres, an appetizer. You can always do bake it and crude with some puff pastry or put it over filet mignon, like when you do beef Wellington. And I mean, some people really love this and some don't. It's like, foie gras. It's one of the same, pretty close foie gras from a goose liver. This is from chicken. So I have some chicken livers here, and I soaked them in milk overnight with some salt. You don't have to do this step, but the reason why I do this is because it takes some of the gamey, strong flavor, and you end up with a little more mild taste. So I got them soaking, like I said, just regular milk, some salt, and you also want to trim all the fat away from the livers and little sinews there, little connective tissue, and that way they're nice and clean. But I'm gonna start by I got all my ingredients ready to go. You're gonna see this is very easy to do. It's not complicated at all. We're gonna start by sweating my onions, okay? And then I'm gonna drain this, rinse them off, and then when I start cooking it. But I wanna get my onions nice and soft. And remember, there's a difference between sweating and actually sauteing. When we sweat products, we wanna get them soft and bring some flavor. We don't wanna brown them. When we sauteing, we have to cook at a higher heat, so we wanna, give the product some color on the surface. But this is just gonna, sweat the onions. I got about 4 ounces. I got my spices here. I got some nutmeg, some oregano, some ground cloves, and ground white pepper. So this is gonna go after I start cooking the livers here. But let's just melt some whole butter here, about 3 ounces. Feel free to ask questions along the way. And some people, like I said, you can eat it warm, but it's always better to let it sit a couple of days in the fridge so all the flavors come together. You can serve with some crackers, some fruits, maybe some cheeses too. Some recipes call for some real fine brunoise vegetables like carrots, maybe some leeks. This is just just basic one. I'm not gonna put any vegetables in there. It's very rich. Okay, so and be careful when you're using whole butter. As I tell you many times, if you're not careful, if you turn the heat too high, it's gonna brown on you. You don't want that, unless you're making a dish that calls for brown butter. Okay, so I'm gonna start my onions here. I'm using the white onions. You can also use regular yellow onions or Spanish onions. Okay, now I'm gonna let them go. In the meantime, I'm gonna drain my milk from the liver, so I'm gonna rinse them really good under cold water. Okay, I'm gonna let them drain really good over here. Okay, and let's just be careful with the onions here. You want to sweat them till they're nice and soft. Okay, I'm gonna really want to drain all the liquid from here. As you can see, it takes a lot of the blood too. If you saw the milk was kind of pinkish, it kind of draws some blood in there from the livers because I put some salt too. So you want to sprinkle some salt, and that's going to help to draw some of the blood out of there. See. All right. I'm also going to be making a port wine jelly to put over the top. You can do any other fruit like a citrus or maybe a fig or something. But I'm using port wine. It goes really good. It's just a nice jelly with some gelatin and some sugar. You guys have any questions? So far, it's really easy, right? It is easy. And again, this dish, is a way to use every part of the animal. I know sometimes a lot of cultures don't use livers. There's some countries that they use, the chicken feet, even the chicken tongues. But it's one of those things that every culture is different. And this is French dish, originated in France. And you can buy this at the store already made up. But you know what? It's so easy to make. You can make your own. Now that you have the holidays coming, you might want to try to do something like this. And it's going to keep in your refrigerator for a few days. Once it's done, you can pack it really nice. And okay, now the onions are starting to get nice and soft. We're going to be adding our livers here. A little bit more. I'm going to add a little salt to my onions. Here. Now you can turn the heat a little bit up. And they're going to cook quick. You don't want to overcook them. You want to have like a little medium, like pink center. That way it's not too brown. So I want to add the spices here too. As you can see, they start to change color right away. You see that? And you can do this with, veal liver or beef liver, duck. There's different ways you can make this. So see, I got some port wine over here. I'm making a jelly. And I got some gelatin here. I already got, softened with some water. I'm just going to add a little sugar, bring it to simmer and mix gelatin in there. So it's going to go over the pate once I, pack it in a little dish. Once it's cooled down and puree. It's going to balance the flavors because you get a little saltiness from the pate, a little sweet from the wine, jelly on top. If you ever want to try do the sous vide style, you can, under vacuum. If you got a sous vide machine, it works really nice. You get a really nice color. It won't turn brown, so it's really good if you ever want to try that. Instead of cooking them this way, you can sous vide the livers, and then you add the seasonings, and it comes out really nice and pink. It won't turn a little brownish like this will because of the heat. Okay. You can tell when they're starting to get done. This texture is not as soft as it is. It starts to get nice and firm. So you will see if you like press down with your spoon. They usually cook really quick. Once you got them cooked, you want to cool them off. I'm gonna put it in. I got this little ice container here, bowl with some ice. Because otherwise, at home you can put it in a sheet pan, let them cool off before you puree them. Because you gotta add some cream cheese to that. Otherwise, if it's too hot, the cream cheese is gonna melt. So you want to let them cool off before you grind them up. I'm gonna use my fruit processor. If you have like a meat grinder, you can use that too. But again, make sure that they're nice and cold before you puree them. I add a little water to my ice here so it starts to melt. If you add water, it's gonna cool off much quicker. The ice is gonna start to melt. That's when it's gonna cool much faster instead of sitting on just a plain ice without any water in there. So when you guys try to cool off your stocks at home or your soups, you want to add a little water to the ice to speed up the melting process, and it's when it starts to cool even quicker when it starts to melt. Okay, we're almost there. I'm gonna cook them a little more. Okay, I'm going to take them off. In the meantime, I want to start heating up my wine here, where I'm going to be making the... Okay. I'm going to add some couple teaspoons of sugar to my port wine. It's already sweet, but you want a little sweeter. Okay. There you go. Pour my okay, so I'm gonna put it in here to start to cool off quicker. Move it around, it's going to cool off much faster. I'm doing this because I don't have a lot of time. Normally I would put it in just a sheet pan or something like flat, spread out, and let it cool by itself. But it's always better to cool it quicker with an ice bath if you want. There you go. So as soon as my wine starts to boil, I'm going to reduce a little bit, and then some of the gelatin in here. Put it back down here. I'm going to turn it off and add some of my gelatin I got in here. Oh, the question was where can we buy the livers? I usually I don't know if you guys, I buy at my grocery store like Mariano's. We have a store called Mariano's around here. Jewel. They come, sometimes they come frozen in little like 2-pound little tubs. And you can pretty much get them everywhere, anywhere. I mean, I've seen, you know, all kinds of, from veal, beef, and chicken. It's a little hard to get, like, you know, geese, like, you know, for the foie gras. It's not as common. You can go online to get like foie gras. It's a lot more expensive. It's one of those things that, you know, it's been a lot of controversy over foie gras because the way they uh, treat the animals. And again, it's one of those things that some places don't even have those because it's the same thing. They're being kind of banned. So, duck livers, those you might be able to find those at your grocery store. They're not as exotic as foie gras, and I mean they're very inexpensive. Livers are very cheap, so you're not going to be paying a lot of money for that. So it's very inexpensive again. Now that I'm going to make sure these are nice and cold now. Otherwise, I'm going to start to, you know, puree them. I'm going to take my hidden element out of the way. I'm going to bring my food processor over here. Okay. Okay, it's good like that. Okay, I want to make sure they're a little cooler before I start to grind them up. And I'm gonna be careful. I want to add all the liquid in there because, as you can see, a lot of liquid. You know, they have a lot of, you know, liquid, the livers. So I want to kind of add in the big chunks, and then if it's too thick, I'm gonna add some of the liquid because I gotta add some cream cheese too. Otherwise, if it's too runny, you don't want it. You want to have a nice consistency. And again, it's gonna get a little thicker once it cools down because right now it's a little bit warm still. You gotta keep in mind that too. Okay, now I'm gonna get this closer to my okay. I'm gonna add some of this. Make it to a nice paste. I'm also gonna add some brandy too. Keep in mind too, that's gonna make it a little more runny as well. So I want to put the onions and all the meat in there, livers in this case. As you can see, I have quite a bit of liquid in there. Okay, let's to the side here. Oops. I'm only going to pulse this. I don't want to start really. Some brandy here. It's going to give a nice sweet taste to it. You can also use cognac if you don't want brandy. Start adding some of my cream cheese here. About 12 ounces of cream cheese I'm going to add to this. Okay. Now I'm going to take the top off instead. It smells really good. Now, should be good enough. And this is going to get nice and thick once you put it in the refrigerator. Now it's still warm. It's more like a real, excuse me, like a runny paste. Okay, a little bit more. make sure I have enough salt and pepper in there. I want to taste it before I put it away. It's really good. It's got enough of everything. Okay, now I don't need this liquid here, as you can see. I'll get out of the way here. Now when I cool this off a little bit, my wine is going to go over the top. So that way when I put it in, it's not going to go down to the bottom. This cools really quick. Okay, it should be good. And I want to try something different. I want to try to cool something off really fast to see if it gets a little thicker right away, because I want to plate this for you guys to show you what it looks like when this gets nice and cold. And right now it's a little bit too runny to do that, so I want to see if I can get it to a thicker consistency. That way I can make a nice plate for you guys. Okay, see. So I want to put it in my pastry bag so I can pipe some and make something. Just to give you an idea how to, maybe plate this instead of putting it in the dish and everybody scoop it out. And I want it to roll it into a little log, but it's always best when it's cold. That's why I want it to cool it off fast. Okay, I'm gonna set it.
Chef, I have a question.
Yes. Go right
What
ahead.
is the difference? Hi.
Oh, hello there.
This is Felicia.
Hi, Felicia. How are you?
Good, thank you. I was wondering what the difference is between a pate and a mousse.
Well, pretty much the same, but you can make a mousse with any other kind of meat. Pate is normally done with liver, and a mousse is done. You can make a mousse from veal to like stuff, let's say pork loin. So my mousse is done with different meats. You can also make it with chicken as well.
Okay, so it's not the process, it's mostly what the meat is.
And also when you make a mousse, it gets pretty much cooked with the other product. You don't really cook it by itself unless you're making like a seafood mousse that you poach, like a salmon mousse. You can do it as an appetizer. You can do that too. And the process is very similar.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure. So now I'm going to put some in this little dish to show you how to, pretty much, I want to really cool this down a little bit more. As you can see, it's starting to get nice and the texture is changing over here. You can see, once it cools down, it gets a little thicker, and you're able to kind of slice it and spread it into a piece of bread or some toast, little crackers. So it kind of works really quick. So I want to let it cool off a little more. In the meantime, when I put some in this little bowl, I would put it away in this and top it with my wine jelly and let it cool off. And next day or a couple days, you come back, you take it out, and you serve it as an appetizer. You can put it into a block too. I want to make this top nice and even. Okay. Now I'm going to pour some of this over the top here, and I'm going to refrigerate it. It's going to be covered overnight, and it's going to solidify. It's going to be like, jelly tomorrow. So there you go. So at this point, we'll put it away. let it cool down, and a couple of days it will come. It's gonna be like jello texture, and then you can, just serve it, whatever you like, with some crackers, some little toasted bread, some fresh fruits. There's so many different things you can use. You can also use this as a pate and crude. You will bake it in a puff pastry shell and use it as an appetizer. This is a good, and now the holidays are coming up, like I was saying, you can make this ahead of time, and it's really there's not much labor involved, and you can have a nice, table with all the cold appetizers. So that's something you can do. I want to do something different here, see if it works. Okay, I'm going to try this. I want to cool this roll down more, because I want to show you something. Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to try it anyways. I'm going to try something here for you guys. Make it a little nice avocado roll. See if it works. It would work better if it was cold, like tomorrow. But I want to show you guys some of the things you can do. Hold on a second. Okay, I got a little plastic film here. I always like to plate my dishes, So I'm going to try to. Oops, that one didn't work. I want to make a little roll. I'm going to try to make it work for you guys. You want to slice avocado as thin as you can. Okay. Okay. Oops. I think I sliced that one too thin, so I might do a little more pieces from this one here. Okay. See if it works. I really want it to work. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. See if it's cold enough to be able to pipe it into there. I think it might. Let's see. Might need very little. We'll see. Should be a little thicker, but let's see if I can pull it off here. Now you want to really fold this into into a roll. It's a little more labor intense, I see, but again, it's the idea is there. I'm gonna try to make something for you guys real quick here. And I got some fresh fruits I cut up. There's some raspberry concentrate I got here too. I want to put this on the plate. See if it doesn't break on me. If it's Once the texture is a little firmer, it's going to be a nice roll instead of looking a little flat looking like that. But again, the idea is there. And then you can put some fresh fruits on there. Some crackers. Even some cheese too, you can. So there's some little microgreens. So I'm using little crispy chips here. So there you go. I hope you guys, I'm sorry it didn't work that well because, like I say, once it cools down, it's going to hold the shape. It's going to be nice in a tight roll. But, now it's kind of soft. That's why it's not holding up the shape. But, again, you can do something different instead of just putting it in a little dish like this. You can, try something different and make it a little more interesting in your presentation. So, again, I want to thank you, all of you guys, for being here today. And I see you again in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Chef. Thank you, Chef.